We will call this Board of Directors meeting to order at 7 p.m. The board has a land acknowledgement and anti-racism statement posted to its website. Roll call tonight. We have Stu and Timey with excused absence, and Brian, I think, is going to be zooming in. Adoption of the agenda. Want to make one amendment to the agenda and just remove the consent agenda. Joanne said there was some changes to the minutes that she wasn't able to get back. Any objections to that? Okay. Do I have a motion to adopt the amended agenda?
Move to adopt the amended agenda.
All those in favor? All right,
Vote.
that passes.
Remember my new role.
First item then is announcements. Anybody have any announcements?
I have
What?
some announcements, AJ.
Gail and Linda.
Okay, well, this is my first board meeting as the newly elected entity chair, and I look forward to working with everyone. When I was elected last November, I was the only candidate for NNE, and so people assumed that I automatically become the NNE chair, although that's not strictly the position I ran for. From January through the end of April, I am full up in Seattle preparing taxes. And although I've been able to go to every single NNE meeting, coming to these board meetings was simply not going to be possible. So Michael Wadsworth, you all know him, was able to take on the role of NNE chair, and I served as secretary to the committee. Now, Michael's summertime job means that attending the Thursday night meetings is not possible for him. And with a unanimous vote of NNE, he and I have switched roles. So Michael is the new secretary, and I know will be with you as the NNE chair through the end of the year. I just want to acknowledge a huge debt of gratitude to Michael for his contributions and leadership these past 5 months. It was really, really helpful. So thank you, Michael, wherever you may be tonight. My second announcement is that the candidate application period for positions on the board and ACC and NNE open July 5th. It's coming right up, and applications will be accepted through the close of business on September 5th. So it's a long period. There are details posted in the June views, and they will be repeated in the July views. And application packets will be available at the Welcome Center starting July 5th. However, in the meantime, if you've been thinking, maybe sort of wondering, should I apply for the board or NNE or ACC? There's an opportunity to get your feet wet without making a big commitment. There are current vacancies on ACC, finance, and long-range planning, and they are somewhat short-term. They would only run through the AGM. NNE is full up, I'm happy to report. So to apply for these short-term volunteer positions, you go to the Sudden Valley website, look on the left, scroll down to volunteer opportunities, open that up and scroll down again, and you'll find the applications for the interim positions. So it's a chance to test the waters and get a feel for what's involved in Sudden Valley governance. Thank you.
Thank you, Gail.
Thank you. Linda?
There was a note on Facebook and I followed up with it, and I understand that a stage 1 burn ban for Whatcom County is going into effect at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. If somebody'd like to check that out, because I like to say, went to the website and it's there, but we probably should put it up for everybody that it's gone into effect once you've confirmed that.
Thanks, Linda. We'll
So
have the signs ready for stage 1.
yeah, you can still have residential fires. You just have to follow the regulations, where it's contained and you have a water hose, et cetera, nearby. So I would recommend people go to the South Whatcom Fire Association website. It usually has a link at the top regarding those burn bans and gives a little more specifics about what you can and can't do under each of those. But thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah, it's definitely something that needs to go out to the membership.
Any other announcements? All right, hearing none, we'll move to property owner comments. Yay, nay?
Place. Thank you. I'm here this evening because I put in an application for the committee to work on the 50-year celebration, and I'm ecstatic about being part of this committee. However, I've had feedback that's gone both ways, so I'll sit around and wait until it's official. But I will say that I've already lined up a few people. I had Roger Ufkus, who was the second developer here. His son is now 65, a very successful commercial realtor down in Seattle. He got here when he was 8. He was shoveling manure out of this barn where the horses were. At 14, he was washing all the salesmen's Jeeps for $2 a Jeep at the Rotunda. The broker owner of Remax, Lori Reese, she used to flip hamburgers here. Her husband, who's passed away, Dean Reese, was when they had the big breakup in the mid 70s and SECA started and the developer stopped. There were split off groups of real estate companies, and one of them was owned by Dean Reese, Lori Reese's ex-husband. So there's a phenomenal amount of information out there. Tim knows personally the gentleman that did all, the son of the gentleman that did all the photography from the beginning of Sudden Valley, and he's got tremendous amount of information that we can get. There's other people also, Lyle Harris, the ex-editor from years ago. I hope he's still alive. If he is, he'll have a lot of information. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. And one way or the other, I'll be helping this community. In my belief, boards come and go. Community's going to stay. And I'm hoping to make the community a better place and have a very nice celebration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to the next item. We got the GM report. I'll pass it to Joanne.
Thank you. SVCA staff shifted gears in May to focus on outdoor maintenance activities and our final preparations for the many summer programs that are maintained by the association. First, Firewise. In May, maintenance completed the annual Firewise program that helps to reduce the amount of large organic debris that is produced in Sudden Valley every year. Our team spent close to 600 hours collecting, chipping, and disposing of material that would otherwise increase the danger of fire and clog our ditches and culverts. We estimate that as many as 1/4 of SVCA properties participated in the program, and the admin team was kept very busy answering lots of questions about the program. Also in May, maintenance made time to prepare the pools for their Memorial Day opening and began mowing alongside the roads and in our parks. Pools. The warm weather has encouraged many people to begin using the pools, and staff report that they are much busier than usual. Rest assured, the new pool furniture and umbrellas that was approved by the board last month will be here very soon. We ask everyone to be patient for the next week or so until it arrives. We've had many calls and suggestions and offers to drive into town to purchase the umbrellas and bring them back if necessary. So it's on its way. I'm very excited to say again that swim lessons are being offered at SVCA by the Whatcom Family Y this year. And they report that registration is almost full for the 2 sessions. So it's very successful. There are just a handful of spots left. So if residents are interested, they should call the Y directly at 360-733-8630. SVCA staff are very glad to see that so many members are taking advantage of this program. It really will help to increase everyone's safety near the water. As a reminder, to people who aren't interested in getting lessons for swimming, those lessons are going to happen on Monday and Wednesday mornings between the 10th of July, and August 30th. So during that time, there will be lots of children learning how to swim in the pool. That might not be a great time to go and relax. Although 3 lap lanes will remain open during lesson time so that you can get a workout in. Lake Louise. Turf Care has responsibility for managing the water level in Lake Louise by monitoring it daily and either opening or closing the dam. This past year, with some help from homeowners, an online form was created where water levels could be recorded each day. This change was super positive in that it brought peace of mind to the people who live next to the lake and are affected by the level of the water. By moving the form online, they can go and look online to see that we are in fact monitoring and taking action as appropriate to maintain the levels. Water levels fall, of course, as we move into the warmer months, and monitoring needs to be less frequent. This year, there has been less rain than usual, and the water level in the lake is already lower than we would expect at this time. Some residents have called to say that they're concerned that there won't be enough water to support irrigation for the golf course. I would like to assure the entire community that this is not an issue. While the edges of Lake Louise are shallow and reflect changes based on rainfall, it is extremely deep for most of it. And it contains much more water than SVCA could possibly pump out of it. So we don't have to worry about that happening. Several residents have reached out to express their concern about the spread of lily pads around the shores of Lake Louise. SVCA is monitoring this and has a plan for halting their spread. The recommended method for controlling water lilies is cutting them near the root once the weather becomes consistently warm. This activity is planned for July and August, as these are our hottest months. This year, our efforts will be focused on the areas where growth is the strongest, so that our work has the biggest impact on controlling this invasive plant. We will never remove all of them, but we will brush them back.
Yeah, I had just a question. I saw that you read that you have to remove them at the root. How do you do that? Do you have scuba divers, or you just go in there and wade around with something? And
It's really cool, actually. A little known fact, I have a pamphlet. They root in water up to 6 feet in depth. So that's why they're always at the edges of the lake, because obviously in the middle where it's 40 or 80 feet deep, they're not going to root there. So we have 2 devices, which is basically a heavy cutting implement, and it's on a rope. And you throw the cutting implement into the water, and it sinks down and nestles into the mud, and then you pull it towards the boat, and there's a sharp cutting edge, and it cuts them off right at the root. And you know it's working because all the root and stems suddenly start to float to the surface, and then you have to have a group of people in boats going around collecting all of that organic debris. Yeah, so it's quite a project, and as we get nearer to the date, we'll put a notice up, and if there are adults in the community who want to volunteer or willing to fill out the waiver, we'll be recruiting for that very exciting activity. This month, there are no updates to the status of our capital projects. Mostly, we are waiting for permits to be approved by the county. There is incremental movement, but not enough to hit the level of this very general report. Each of the departments has a part in this general manager's report, and I would encourage people to take a look at the website where it will be posted. Those parts of the general manager's report are also published in the views in the form of all around the valley. So you can get to see those reports in the views, or you can visit them online. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne.
All right, thank you. Moving on to new business, the first order is approval of a committee member for the 50th anniversary committee. Committee member is Chris Weitzel. Are there any objections? All right, hearing.
I have a question for Mr. Weitzel.
I was kind of confused about that yappy hour thing that came out very suddenly with no notice. And can you explain how that happened? Did Remax or whoever it is get security for it, or did that fall on Sudden Valley, or?
It wasn't very many. What he was saying was there wasn't much of a turnout. And I think Joanne, you sent security by there and staff, right, to check on it, to make sure. And if, I'm sorry for speaking out of turn, and Joanne can explain this because I asked the same question. The way it was explained to me was if our staff felt like it was getting out of hand or it was overflowing into the dog park area, then they'd be asked to close it down. And I believe, Joanne, you talked to them about that, correct? That if it was sorry.
Yeah, no, Chris is exactly right. The team reached out and reserved the space and paid for it and all. So it was all by the book. And the anticipated turnout was not such that it would require additional security. But as with all events, we have staff check to make sure that people are following the rules, and there was no issues with the first Yappy Hour or this last one that occurred.
Thank you, both of you.
All right, well, I didn't hear any objections, so Chris is approved for the committee. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks for volunteering.
All right. Move on to the capital requests. First item is contract award for the park project. Let's keep going.
Thanks, AJ. So we're back to request contract approval for the 2023 street pavement markings. If you remember, the board has already approved a placeholder amount for this project based on preliminary estimates of the cost. On May 11th, the board approved the 2023 street pavement markings project to move forward, and this was assigned capital code 9923.42. Per PNW's attached summary dated June 2nd, 2023, the project was put out to bid to 3 different contractors, and SBCA received quotes from 2. It is recommended that SBCA proceed with the contract award to Camps Painting Company Incorporated. Camp's quote dated June 1st is for $26,473.20. May 11th, 2023 project approval included a construction estimate of $33,991.63. The difference of $7,518.43 is recommended to be returned to the roads fund. The 10% contingency, $3,574.66, is recommended to remain in this contract for any minor differences in road quantities that are discovered during the actual painting process. There are 2 proposals or requests associated with this. The first is to request approval for issuing a contract to Camps Painting in the amount of $26,473.20. And the second is to request that $7,518.43 be returned to the roads fund.
All right, I'll do the first motion and we can discuss. I'll move that the board of directors approve the contract award to Camps Painting in the amount of $26,473.20. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on that? Linda, then Nancy.
I guess I'm a little concerned. I'm looking at the estimate from last time. And the 33,991 that's referred to is only Camp's painting bid. There's other services from PNW and an engineer, I believe. Those costs are not included in that. And we get, and it's like, the way we're doing things now, our contingencies disappear. And yet they need to be considered in everything that we're approving. And it's just like the 10% contingency from before was based on that prior estimate. It's not reduced by this reduction in the actual bid of the 26,000. And it's just, it seems like we're getting kind of confused. When we used to do capital memos, it'd be fine. This is what the painting bid is. This is what the contingency is. The sales tax to make sure that we've done it. And it's like we're doing all this and somewhere our contingencies are getting lost. You know, it says, yes, let's put it with it, but it's not included in any of these motions. That's just a concern I have.
Contingency was allocated with the, at the onset of the project. So when we allocated funds previously, now he's bringing back the bids for contract award to us for approval. So that's contingency is something we've already approved previously when we have allocated the 33,000.
Oh, I understand.
He's just saying, keep it in there, you know, don't get rid of it when we put 7.5 back.
Yeah, this is just the camps portion. We approved that total that you're talking about. This is just the contract award.
Oh, I understand that, but I'm saying there's costs that we're gonna have to pay out of that. There's $1,755 that go to PNW.
Not out of this. This is a contingency for the camp's work. This is part of their, it's a 10% contingency on their contract.
But then if you don't approve that amount, it's not included in what you are approving. If you're doing, because contractually, you're not even acknowledging in that contract that you're gonna acknowledge the contingency. That's just here.
Right, so we'd bring a change order back at that point, but the money remains obligated in the fund.
Okay, it's just a really odd way of doing things, but I just am concerned that some of this stuff that was in the original is not there, and it's just assumed that the money's gonna be there to pay for it.
Why wouldn't the money be there to pay for it? If we obligated those funds, they're not going anywhere.
Because
They're obligated until we spend them down. They don't disappear.
we'll see. It's not the way we used to do. And I know that doesn't mean we always have to do it that way, but we're also returning $7,518.
So what
Is that-
we've been trying to do, Linda, is there's been kind of a practice of exactly what you're saying, where contingencies and other things aren't really fully accounted for, and the money is disappeared. We really have been trying to drill down to make sure that, first of all, most of these things do not go over budget. Last year, every project we put forward came in under budget or on budget.
A lot of them are still open, so it's hard to tell.
Most,
Did they go,
all of,
are they closed? And you can now say, you know, they did well and that this money has been returned to the different roads or SERP accounts. I'm saying there's a lot open, so it's hard to tell the accuracy.
well, there's a lot closed too, and they came in on budget or under budget. And so this is a part of trying to make do a little bit better accounting. So while it may seem a little different, I think at the end of it, when you have the full project, you know, numbers and that capital numbers that'll come out, you'll feel a lot more comfortable with that.
Nancy was next.
Yeah, all I saw was center lines being painted. Will the fog lines get painted next year?
I believe that's the plan.
That's
So I get, I read the, Yeah, what they identified is that on a lot of roads, you don't need those fog lines. And so they found that, because it's very costly to do fog lines and those center lines. So Impact actually made this determination when they were out doing their engineering report for all the roads. And so that's why you'll see it. There's a different way that they're painting at on these busier roads and in those busier intersections than what they're allocating for like these residential roads that don't have much traffic and everything, but it's really more cost efficient to do it like this.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion or questions? All right. All right, we'll call the question then. The motion on the table is that the board of directors approve a contract award to Camps Painting in the amount of $26,473.20. All those in favor? All right, that passes unanimously. I'm assuming Brian, did you?
Yes, yeah, I approve.
All right, and then the second motion with this agenda item would be, I move that the board of directors approve the reallocation of $7,518.43 from capital code 9923.42 back into the roads reserve fund.
Second.
Any discussion on that?
Yeah, my only question would be, is there any other use, since we've already allocated the funds for striping and painting and whatnot? Is there any other use that the board might see or Joanne might see need for using that funds for something else right now, why they're here painting to take advantage of them here? Any additional work is what I'm saying that you might be putting off that maybe you think is needed that we might get done now.
That's a great question, Keith. So thanks for asking. There are areas where we want to paint, particularly on Marigold near the clubhouse where you cross Marigold, the Lake Louise Trail is there. We've determined that it would be very helpful to repaint a crosswalk there, but we're going to do that with maintenance. Maintenance use some of their budget to purchase a new device that dramatically improves their ability to paint pavements. And so the very small projects like that, our maintenance team can do. And so we don't have to contract with an external agency and pay a higher cost. So hit and run, if we see something that needs to be repainted or we realize that we need to do an intersection like that, we just get it on their list and then they'll hit it when they have the time.
Very good, thank you.
Any other discussion? All right, we'll call the question. The motion was that the board of directors approve the reallocation of $7,518.43 from capital code 9923.42 back into the roads reserve fund. All those in favor? All right, that passes unanimously. All right, move on to the next agenda item, which is contract award for asphalt repairs. Pass back to John.
Thanks. As AJ said, the purpose of this request is to receive contract approval for the 2023 street asphalt repairs. On May 11th, SBCA's board approved the 2023 street asphalt repairs project to move forward, and this was assigned capital code 9923.43. Per P&W's attached summary, which is dated June 2nd, the project was put out to bid to 6 contractors, and SBCA received quotes from 4 of them. It is recommended that SBCA proceed with contract award to WRS. Per the bid documents, Schedule A and additive alternate relate to the 2023 street asphalt repairs project that was approved. WRS's quote for these 2 items totals $207,300.31. Schedule B in the amount of $21,962.72 relates to SBCA Capital Code 9921.03, Southern Court Stabilization and Asphalt Repairs. On May 11th, 2023, the board approved The board approval included total project funds in the amount of $397,155.10. Of this, $36,610 was allocated to design, permitting, and construction oversight, leaving a construction budget allocation of $360,545.10. The difference between the construction budget and WRS's proposal is $153,244.79. It is recommended that a 25% asphalt repairs area contingency be left in the 2023 street asphalt repairs project. This would total $207,300.31 times 25%, or $51,825.08. This allocation is to cover changes in the asphalt where damage limits may have increased since they were originally identified, and any other minor areas that were not originally identified. The balance of funds, which is $101,419.71, will be returned to the roads fund. The funds returned to roads will have a separate capital project brought forward to continue additional road and drainage improvements in 2023. This is a complicated one. There are 4 different requests. First, approval for issuing the contract to WRS in the amount of $207,300.31. Then, to request an additional funds allowance to the WRS contract in the amount of $51,825.08. The third request approval for issuing a contract to WRS in the amount of $21,962.72 under the existing capital code 9921.03. And last, to request that $101,419.71 be returned to the roads fund.
Start over again, I missed all.
All right, I'll just open it up for discussion to start and then we can do motions, I think. Linda?
So I guess the only one I'm really curious about is proposal number 3, where we're going to award 21,962.72 for the capital code. It's for Southern Court. We never discussed that in our earlier meeting. We discussed the base and the alternate for the road asphalt plan. And the only place I found any information that was any way descriptive was in the inclusion that was in the letter to the bidders, but it's something we never discussed. Is that money coming out of a different account then?
That
I know
comes
that
from, that comes
exists,
from
but-
that existing project. They did some drainage work up there and there was asphalt repairs that needed to be done as well, but
Well, that road is in bad shape.
they're being put off to be bid with other asphalt work for economy of scale.
Okay, it's like it came out of the blue. And I went back and looked and I went, am I missing something that I'm reading? And I read everything.
The actual project that it is attached to is complete. It's a closed project, and that money was just sitting there for asphalt repair. That's why.
Last time I looked at the March.
Right, but I'm
at
saying
March
the
capital
project that,
report, Southern Court, that's
it's-
still open.
that's this Southern Court money right here, and that's what AJ's saying. So that part that you're talking about, the project itself was complete, except for we left it open due to this asphalt, this additional, because it had like patch or whatever you call it. What do you call it? You know, it was like coal patched and everything, and actually it was full asphalt repair, but it needed this additional, so it was left open. And so that's what he's saying. It's just being allocated back into this for economy of scale. It's being allocated back into this full asphalt repair project.
Then my only question is this going to be a separate contract from that contracted under this newer asphalt repair? It's almost like rather than it almost should be a separate contract because it's for separate work, not the current work that we dealt with.
It's not, it's not really. I mean, the goal of this is asphalt repair throughout the association. throughout every gate. There's multiple locations identified throughout every gate. So this is just moving asphalt funds over into a bigger pool of asphalt funds.
I know, it's just funny that it wasn't discussed this time and now it's here and that's all.
Any other discussion?
It's really good news that we're able to put $100,000 back. And part of that is because we are bundling the projects and getting economies of scale. To have the ability to come up with yet another roads improvement project above and beyond what was originally planned, I think is a blessing. So I'm pleased to have this outcome.
Yeah, and I think, Tyler's saying he's gonna try to bring back additional projects for this year, so. All right, so there's a few motions to go through then. I'll move that the board of directors approve contract award to WRS in the amount of $207,300.31 from,
Second.
all right, any discussion? All those in favor? Right, that passes unanimously. Second motion would be a move that the board of directors approve an additional funds allowance, the WRS contract in the amount of $51,825.08.
Second.
All those in favor? All right, that passes unanimously. I'll move that the board of directors approve a contract award to WRS in the amount of $21,962.72 under existing.
Second, sorry. Oh,
What's up,
Second.
Brian?
sorry.
All right, all those in favor? All right, that passes. And the last thing, I'll move that the board of directors approve the reallocation of $101,419.71 from capital code 9923.42 back to the roads reserve fund.
Second,
All those in favor? All right, that passes unanimously. And that is the last item on our agenda, so we're adjourned. Oh, what's up?
Just a quick question for Joanne. Is the golf course going to be open for walking Sunday?
Yes, it will.
Okay.
And foot golf starts at 5 p.m. on Sundays. So if you want to play foot golf, you can do that. And then as soon as the course is cleared of regular golfers and their very dangerous golf balls, then walkers can start at 6. So I encourage everyone to get out. It should be beautiful this weekend.
Do we start at one particular place or?
Yeah, you have to start at the first hole. So it's the first 9 where walking is allowed, and you have to start at the beginning because there are still going to be straggling golfers at 9 probably because they take an unconscionable amount of time to golf.
It starts at 6.
Walking is 6, foot golf at 5.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I should have remembered that for announcements. Views, have you talked